Welcome.
Yeah.
Well, let me restart because I was here some time ago. They did the awards, so all I can say is, good morning, everyone at Keller Williams. I remember that from Gracie. She did that. So anyway, it's a pleasure to be here and talk to you about my new book, which is called Bouncing Back, which means from wherever you were, the difficulties you might be having or have had in the past, and moving forward with momentum. And that's an interesting thing to try and do because we live in a very stressful world nowadays. And even at home we have stress and different situations that we have to deal with. Even as a new transaction coordinator, as it was mentioned, you're going to undergo new stressful things. I'm sure you can handle them. But the idea is, the first thing in this book is to provide a formula, because a lot of people don't feel what their true value and worth is. And so I have a simple formula in here that works for high school kids on up. And it's very simple, and once they grasp this idea, with two letters and a number, they know how important they are compared to 7 billion people in the world. And they have no doubt that they can stand there, and they are just as important and as valuable as anyone else in the world. So that to me helps to build a foundation, or not to build it, because everybody has a foundation. Your foundation could be what you fall back on because of your church affiliation, or your upbringing, or your parents' teaching, or what you learned from friends, your own education. It can be a combination of many things. But we all have a basic foundation that we have to fall back on occasionally. Sometimes it starts to crumble because of the stresses of everyday life. But the important thing is, once you grasp this tiny formula, you now have the steel reinforcement that makes that structure stronger. That's why we used to have a limit of 13 stories in Los Angeles. Go look at downtown today. There's steel reinforcement to make things stronger. So that's what you want to do with your business, is to make things stronger. And because, well, even as Gary Keller would agree by saying, shift happens. I hope you all remember that. I hope I said that clearly for the camera. Otherwise I'm in trouble. But yes, that's what he said. And in fact, on the very first page of Gary's book, under what agents are saying about shift, it says, Gary hits the nail on the head when he says, change isn't easy, yet long-term success requires it. And it's very true. You also find further in his book, under the 12 tactics that he outlines in the last portion of the book, under the tactic number 1, there's a quote by Andy Andrews, if you've ever seen him on television or heard him speak, quite the speaker. And he says, first we make choices, then our choices make us. And that's very true. So in this book, you're going to find ways to make better choices, ways to organize your own information, and ways to make a difference in your life. Because as I wrote on the back of this book, it took me a long time to discover this, working with people, doing volunteer work, trying to help others. And I wrote on the back of this book, while you can help others overcome a situation, you cannot help them overcome a lifestyle. That has to be their choice, and the choices they make. So that's why I wrote this book, to encourage people to change their lifestyle, to adapt to something new, something different that can move them forward, not just forward, but also to pick up some momentum. So with that, that has to be their choice. Of course, the 3 of the things that are important. If you discover and implement one new idea, you can change your life, or you can change the life of others. Number 2, less than 8% of the public is involved in self-improvement. And out of that 8%, most of them are involved in either improvement in exercise or diet. Very few in improving themselves. So that means you have less competition. If 90% of the people are out there improving themselves and being entrepreneurs like you are, you would have one heck of a lot of competition. So don't mind the competition, because it could be a lot worse. Think of the value that you have now within yourself. So other than that, goals are great. Everybody has goals. Goals are a future vision of where you hope to arrive. In the book, I talk about comparing a vacation to a goal. We don't think about working hard to get somewhere, but we love to think about vacations. Boy, would I love to go to, where, Disneyland, New York, Europe? What can I afford? How do I put it together? When do I want to be there? 3 weeks from now, 3 months, 3 years? It's all the same as planning your life. If you plan it like a vacation, you can make it quite enjoyable. So anyway, you'll find some of those things in the book, and so let me end where I began, with a quote from Gary's book by Andy Andrews. First we make choices, then our choices make us. Wishing you a positive shift.
Woo!
Online for $14.95. Anybody that would like to pick it up today, it's on sale here just for you for $10. I don't charge tax because I'm not a government yet. Taxation. But anyway, it's $10 and you can read it within 1 hour or 15 minutes for different days. And if you find one thing in this book, I hope it will change your life and the life of others, because that's what's important and that's what we need, is more people making changes. So I have this book available. If you have questions about it, I'll be happy to answer them in the back. Thank you very much.
Don, thank you so much. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure.